Welcome to the Building Web3 Podcast. Today we're joined by the founder of Aventus, where they're revolutionizing blockchain for businesses. From tracking baggage at airports to enhancing energy markets and creating digital collectibles, discover how Aventus drives blockchain adoption and simplifies complex processes for global industries. Remember, nothing stated here is financial advice. Welcome to the Building Web3 Podcast. Today I'm here with my good friend, Alan. He is the founder at Aventus. Alan, before we get too deep into Aventus, could you tell me a little bit about your background? What got you into crypto? What was your come to crypto moment?
Absolutely, anytime. It's good to be here. So I came to the moment in an undergrad computer science in London at Imperial College. So obviously, like any computer science undergrad, you kind of have a play with the latest technologies. I started in 2012. And I was starting already, there was all kinds of stories around Bitcoin, and I guess the primary usage being the dark web. But I to explore computer science, saw what blockchain for there. I didn't really sit until my master's here where I studied artificial intelligence. And this is the year Ethereum was launching, so it was 2015. And seeing that movement from a pure transaction engine to kind of smart contracts and on-chain code, if you like, and all of the use cases, that's where it really kind of started setting in for me. So I ended up doing my master's thesis on it, and things just kind of went from there.
You're not the first person that we've had that, kind of went that exact route. So talk about how you started Aventus Network and what's kind of the mission.
Yeah, well, how we started it was essentially my master's thesis. We started in the at that point, we were film rights distribution, but we got to today over a variety experimenting through the years from 2016, like the early days, is really helping businesses understand how to use this technology. That's the kind of balance what we do every day. We've built the Aventus network to be everything that you need to be able to do kind of boring side of the software adopted, dealing with the service side agreements and whatnot that businesses really want to see, and then delivering on what we say we're going to do. So this is all about and adoption, bringing blockchain to business.
Nice. And could you give us a brief overview of what you guys specifically do?
Yes, so we've got a variety of use cases, right? So we kind of provide blockchain as a service. It's a fully vertically integrated stack, right? So from the network to something private, permission or public network, any of the middleware that you need, so APIs and the key management tools, ones and whatnot, and then into the application domain. So we to digital collectible marketplaces or supply chain governance. That's the kind of tech stack that we're looking at. So in terms of use cases, I think that's the best way of seeing it come to life. We've got use cases in supply chain. So here we've done various things at Heathrow Airport, looking at how you track cargo. I think everybody's gone on there at some point and not had a diet there. There's all kinds of issues playing that supply chain process, bags, freight, rail, and we have a solution that helps sort of reduce that. Then we support our partners energy web and energy market. We kind of provide a technology under that. So I have servicing Shell and EDF, also a variety of major businesses on essentially looking at how to optimize the flows of energy and improve the provenance of green energy. And then we also have deals in the entertainment space. So it's normally, whether it's a sports car trying to be closer to their fan or a musician trying to be closer to their fan, providing a variety of tools and mechanisms to better enhance that relationship between the two and engage in the digital sphere.
Absolutely. So let's take the example of, let's say I'm founding Jax's Airport, a very successful airport. Now I want to track the bags. I don't want people to be upset with me. So let's say I come to you and I say, hey, I need to track bags better. Let's talk about what that would look like for you guys.
Yeah, well, the typical problems you'll be facing is at any point in time, you've got these cargo cars called ULDs that go onto a path and that's where you put the baggage in the mail or whatever. And at any point in time, up to 10% of those are missing. And if you don't have one ready for your next flight, it's going to cost you $4,000 a day to borrow it from somebody else. It's going to cause delays to the aircraft. Every minute delay has a knock-on effect of a few $1 million worth of cost for that airline. So those delays the inefficiency in knowing exactly where your inventory of these parts are what really leads to this problem. So what our solution default to do is essentially on the ground, the baggage handlers will be able to use artificial intelligence and kind of machine vision to extract information using cameras from these pallets as they move around the airport. That data will go onto the blockchain to essentially form the audit trail. Who touched this? When did they touch it? Where did it move? What exactly was in it when you saw it? All of those kind of provenance and audit trail. And now then plug in as the backbone of interoperability to the various systems and the various parties. There could be up to 50 different parties that touch this thing from off one aircraft onto another aircraft. So it really helps that communication channel across everybody. And then you can take it a step further, like the partnership that we announced with Vodafone, so looking at how you can now take an IoT device and attach it to these ULDs and use mobile phone networks to automatically ping the GPS location on this thing. So maybe you've already bought, maybe you go into a specific airport, you can look further into all each other, say, oh, the last person who touched it was this baggage handler, knowing exactly where we need to go to find it or to kind of enforce our rights around it not being rushed.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the blockchain itself. So people will be like, we've had Metis on here, we've had a lot of layer twos, we've had like people that worked on Solana, we've had people that worked on different near protocol. What kind of differentiates you guys from like why, if I'm having my Jax Airport, why should I go with Aventus?
Well, I'd say one interesting thing we've really found in the market is the majority of clients really don't care about blockchain. As far as they're concerned, it's like they use Google and don't care what the database is that Google's using to deliver the results, right? So the thing I think that has really separated us apart in delivering some of the deals that we have is the focus on the specific domain, not the technology and the kind of general purpose aspect. Of course, that's a high due factor. If you can't handle the throughput, if you can't price to them and give a constant pricing and predictable pricing, and it can help actually with the uptime that you need, they won't go with you. But if you do a few more protections or, that's not really the deciding factor here. The key is understanding their domain and helping them understand it. It's always one of two things. Either they're going to make more money or they're going to spend less money, right? And really articulating to them how this technology can do it for their specific domain and be applied in their domain. And then often it's a bit risk mitigation. The history of the blockchain industry, especially given the crypto markets, has led to hesitance in adoption in some because it's perceived as quite risky technology. So a lot of the conversation is often around that as well. I mean, it's quite helpful that Blackrock's probably the biggest holder of Bitcoin now, so that narrative's changing. But we saw this kind of last year, but that has been one of the significant areas.
Yeah, you make a very good point. Like my mom never goes to a website. It's like, oh wow, are they using MongoDB here? She doesn't care. Doesn't think about it.
Doesn't work and isn't easy.
Does it work and is it easy? Absolutely. So how do you guys make it easy? Is it the developer experience that's really easy? Is it your guys' consulting that makes it really easy to onboard? Like, my Jax Airport, or like, let's say I want to, start Jax's City, where we've moved on for airports and now I want more things on the blockchain. Like, is it that you guys are really good at the advising, or is it the developer experience is very seamless?
So I think it's on both fronts, right? I mean, on the one hand, the first interaction is people talking to each other. So giving them the confidence that we know what we're talking about, but that we can talk to them in a way that they understand. I mean, we've got a bunch of client testimonials that sort of pick on that exact point, making sure that what we're talking about is at the relevant level and specific to their industry. Nobody wants to hear general metrics on how things work, or we have specifically for my industry, how does this work? So that's one side of the coin. But then the other side is when it comes to delivery, right? They want to interact with this technology via familiar means, right? They would rather hit an API than go through a blockchain node and have to deal with an RPC endpoint. And they all want to be touching the tokens where the finance department then has a lack on how they even book this. Why is technology? I know some of the people in the industry have had finance departments kind of say, why do we have appreciation in our tech team? How's our tech team making money from point software? Because tokens are appreciated. So it's one of those kind of elements where you just make it simple. They get building fiat, they use APIs as they otherwise would, and they realize the benefits of this technology without having to have any domain-specific knowledge. So, yeah, developer experience, onboarding, delivery, customer success, all of those elements within the engineering and product teams really need to be smooth.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of when we talked with Stability Protocol. And do you guys actually have a token, or they essentially just pay as if they would pay like Amazon, AWS? How do they essentially pay for transactions if you don't want to do that appreciation?
There is a token on the blockchain network side. The intrinsic network fees are priced constantly, right? So it's $1 per transaction fee, and then kind of the system will calculate what the actual blockchain tokens need to be. And then there's a variety of systems, proxies, and various other means where transactions can be sent on the network, then nominated to somebody else to essentially pay what's associated with that. So business model exists to build them like, depending on the industry, maybe a SaaS type model for transaction volume, and then that will automatically settle and translate within the network area without them having to worry about the complexity of it.
Absolutely. And are you finding there's, a specific vertical that you guys are really successful in either selling to or adopting? Is it, the supply chain? Is it something else entirely?
So a lot of debate about this internally because it's important to be focused, especially when you're still a small growing business, right? But from our perspectives, I haven't even spoken about the loyalty use case that we have. That's probably the majority of the transaction volumes. We were active in the loyalty and reward space. So kind of across that whole, if we were to bucket entertainment, digital collectibles, loyalty, rewards, all of those kind of points, that's where we've seen the majority of users, a few million users across those products, and the majority of traction. So if I had to be private, I would be that one. But as of right now, that's not 100% of the focus. The supply chain is still of interest to us too.
Supply chain. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the nerdier topics. So let's talk about building your own blockchain. Let's talk about like kind of the tech stack you guys have settled on.
Yeah, well, we started as a protocol on Ethereum back in 2017. I should have a bunch of smart contracts. And then back then we were a ticketing company. And looking at the secondary market ticketing, scalping, how we can deal with that. And as COVID hit, nobody was going to events, nobody was doing ticketing. But we've done a deal with Live Nation for one of their festivals, so one of the biggest they own Ticketmaster, right? One of the biggest in the industry. And that learning from going to zero to servicing a client like that, we understood where the shortcomings of the technology were. So that meant back then, this is 2019, I think, was scalability. So we did a review of the market and found that Substrate was the best technology available tool available to us. This is from that Polkadot ecosystem. And so we refitted that to be layer 2 on Ethereum. And that worked for a good amount of time to deliver the client needs. But then as things evolved further to enhance the scalability of the solution and essentially more cost efficiently drive the security, we then moved over to actually being a parachain. So the Aventus network has been a parachain for the last 2 years-ish. And that has delivered on the needs so far. Now, as the Polkadot ecosystem moves from their former model to a new model, the Polkadot 2.0, for those who know, is a kind of new model rolling out within that ecosystem. Now it's about evaluating how that will be suitable for the future of what we're doing.
That's interesting because we haven't talked much about Polkadot on this channel. So let's talk a little bit about the Polkadot ecosystem, essentially why you guys chose to build there and what a parachain is.
Yeah, so a parachain, I think you can always look at it like a layer 2 in other ecosystems. A parachain is deriving security from the Polkadot base chain, the relay chain they call it, and it essentially deals with cross-chain communication. So various different parachains can essentially talk to each other via the Polkadot relay chain. That was the vision yours kind of presented. It's turned out to be quite tricky to use the cross-parachain communication, so it hasn't quite exploded yet. But the vision for Polkadot moving to 2.0 and a thing called Jam is essentially trying to enhance that and make it more dynamic, almost like how layer 2s work with Ethereum, but with the base chain really just doing what we call blockchain operations, and the Parachain itself being able to focus on the business-specific logic more. So that's where the ecosystem is. They're starting to deploy heavily from community treasury to really drive some interesting use cases. So we've been able to benefit from some of that activity. One of the times where Beatport, they're the biggest DJing platform in the world for EDM music, got 100,000 labels. So that we helped them build their fan artist solution, and that was in collaboration with the Polkadot ecosystem and some financing from that. So the time running, there's promising tech coming in the future, but there are a lot of ecosystems that are promising a lot at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how the next year or two plays out. It seems there's a degree of consolidation in the market starting to take place, or there's significant treasury spend starting to happen from different ecosystems, and things are changing.
Yeah, I find this to be quite an interesting topic because one of our goals is to bring more builders and founders into the Web3 space. And one of the main concerns is like, what blockchain do I pick? Do I like build a layer 2? Like, do I roll my own blockchain? What are some of the considerations founders should think about when they want to build, say, a new product, and they're evaluating different blockchain options? They're evaluating different like layer 2s or parachains.
Well, number one, be really for some pain if you want to be a founder, because it's glamorized a lot in the media that it's a slot most days, but we're all know. But in terms of the specific blockchain ecosystems, I think, to be honest, from what we've seen, the clients don't care. So if you really want to be blockchain native, if you want to create meme coins, then Solana is probably your best place. And if you want to create, this kind of little specialisms, if you're focused on servicing the existing Web3 industry, to me, what's more interesting, and it seems kind of around like you were mentioning there as well, onboarding new builders, getting more of the Web2 world into the Web3 world. In that respect, I don't think the base blockchain is the real question. I think the most important thing is, where can you find a great problem you can solve for a business that this technology gives you an edge at solving? It's different consensus mechanisms, more transactions per second restaurants. These are minor details in the grand scheme of what can you try to deliver to a client. And if you can find an area where this technology gives you an edge in delivering that value to that client, once you have the client, you can go shop that around in different ecosystems, and somebody will probably pay you for it if you have real demand there. So for anybody thinking about trying to do something, I would start on the commercial side and worry about which blockchain second.
Yeah, it seems relatively obvious from where we sit, but like it's like solve a real problem. And often if you're the total addressable market for people that aren't already on blockchain is much higher than those that are here.
And there's competition, right? Everybody is trying to figure out a better way to service the Web3 market. It's worth looking at the other markets.
Yeah. And for any skeptics that we have in the audience, I always like to ask this is, many people will criticize blockchain and say like blockchain is a solution in search of a problem, and that, we're constantly just like, oh, well, maybe this needs a blockchain. Where do you see that, like when you're talking with these, let's say they're not, crypto native people, or like they're more, maybe they're like a bank or they're an airport. Where do you show them the advantages of blockchain, and how do they kind of receive it nowadays?
I think this is a symptom of the ICO wave and the NFT wave, right? The access to capital for this industry, there was a new means of accessing capital, and that grew very quickly. But what that needed was, you create a token, you create a vision and sell that vision, like any startup founder does. But then you have to perpetually, you almost like a public company from day one, where you have to continually feed that pool of interest to drive returns. And so what that resulted in, I think, is a lot of people buying deals where blockchain didn't necessarily belong. The client didn't care, it was only paid to use the technology. To a degree, some of this is still happening today. But with that turning into more announcements, more seeming collection, and further kind of monetization of that engagement. And that has led to it being very difficult. And I completely understand why they are skeptics. They should be, because there are only places where blockchain is being adopted where it doesn't belong, because people can buy those deals. The interesting thing is, as we see different crypto winters happen again and again, you see some players become stronger and some kind of fall behind and end their journeys. And that's where you really start to be able to separate, is there real value to these use cases or isn't there? So I think that skepticism is healthy. I think it's well-founded. There are certainly areas where this technology can be just as good as an alternative solution, in which case, why not use it, right? If you have another approach or you're better financed because you're using new technology and it's no worse to use it for a certain application, you may as well use it. But then there are also areas where it adds value that you otherwise couldn't achieve, right? There are various pockets in this world, I think even I mentioned rewards and loyalty area, creating closed payment economies, better user experience around microtransactions, areas where multiple business with diverse interests have to interact with each other. You can create efficiencies. And I don't think at the end of the day we're necessarily meant to see everybody with a wallet, or at least a wallet with the user experience as we understand it today. To me, this technology almost serves as a nuclear deterrent to certain types of business models. If you set up and users have the ability to move into their own custody, let's look at banking and payment rails. If you have the ability to check out into your own custody and to transact in Bitcoin, that's going to force financial institutions to offer you a service not much more expensive or worse than what Bitcoin can offer. So that nuclear deterrent forces business models to evolve, and I think that's one of the most powerful parts of this technology.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting future. So we talked a little bit about, wallets, and maybe everyone in the future won't have a wallet or won't appear as it does today. I always think that crypto itself has a very horrible user experience, and that like my mom's not gonna be like, oh wow, like look at my seed phrase and things of that nature. Do you see that the industry, because you've been in it quite a long time, do you see that it's evolving in terms of, like, let's say, Telegram now has a wallet natively built into it. We see Coinbase's smart wallet. Do you think things are improving on this front, and that like we'll get more adoption?
Yeah, all of the infrastructure is improving as the different integrations happen, as these things seem less risky, as the regulation is setting, allowing big companies to adopt this technology. User experience is only going to improve. And I think when we get to the point where you have from Vodafone, they're putting wallets on SIM cards. When Apple starts putting your wallet in the secure enclave where it stores your facial recognition data, then I think we'll really be at that point of, this technology is slick and easy to use. And I think it's coming, but we'll probably still away from it really. I think the most important thing will be the states in America pioneering some of the regulations, right? Because that's where a lot of the technological pioneering comes from. What we found at the moment is Europe is further ahead in its adoption than America is because of the decision the SEC took in the early years. So as that now starts to change and solidify, you see BlackRock speaking positively, you see some of the presidential candidates or potential presidents talking positively about the crypto world, you will see America catch up and really outcast this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy to think. So I'm going to Bitcoin Nashville next week, promo code JAX if you want a discounted ticket. And Trump will be speaking there, which I couldn't have, when I got into crypto in 2012, I would never have guessed. It was something you bought drugs with and fake IDs with online. It wasn't anything big. And now for this conference, now we have the potential next president coming to speak. It's a real change.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, that's how things are changing. And hopefully, it will make a major difference to actual adoption.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the Vodafone example because it's not something I know about, so I suspect my audience doesn't know about it. So you said they're putting wallets on people's SIM cards. Talk a little bit about that. And are they working with Aventus on this?
So that's the Vodafone Digital Asset Broker platform. These are the guys that we partnered with to look. I mentioned in the aviation supply chain use case before. We're not working directly with them on the one front. This is something they're doing on their own. Essentially, if you think about it, right, the one thing that moves between you probably get a new iPhone every year, 2 years, 3 years, or if you use iPhone, whatever iPhone you use, right? There's an upgrade cycle associated with it. But you typically don't change your SIM card as frequently. You take your number with you, whether it's eSIM or your normal SIM. Um, Most people will change their SIM card less frequently and their number less frequently on their phone. So the idea here is on the SIM card itself, it has a little secure area where you can store some private keys and show signatures. So ultimately, you would be able to, no matter where you go, have that key kind of move around with you. Of course, you will be careful because if the phone gets stolen, then you might get trouble. But that's where kind of security elements come in. If your iPhone's not unlocked, you can't access those kind of details.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about some of the problems you guys have faced at Aventus and how you talked about overcoming them. So talk a little bit about the challenges you guys faced and how you worked to overcome them.
Yeah, well, I think in the early days, number one was transaction throughput, right? Everybody was having that problem 2018, 2019, or Scalability. So that was where you relied, so the layer 2 era. So number one was scalability. That was solvable quite quickly. Layer 2 is obviously emerged and really took that role where you separate, derive security from the actual execution of the individual transactions. When as we moved through the market, things became a little bit more complex when you go into the business world. I think one of the big steps that we overcame was when a business was considering using public blockchain infrastructure. This is why most adopted private infrastructures. One was they could control the whole ecosystem. The second was the cost base. When you're dealing with a token, so with Ethereum, for example, if you're trying to predict what your annual server fees are going to be for your solution, if there's an Ethereum component to it, you have two free markets. You have the price of Ether moving around, and then you have the ratio of gas to Ether needed per transaction. And so that makes it so difficult to get any kind of clarity over what is my cost base going to be. Now, of course, models have evolved a little bit to are more predictable, but figuring out how to do constant and predictable pricing, that was one of the challenges. And then I think more on the regulatory side, it's just separating the technology from the use case. Cryptocurrencies are one use case that blockchain technology enables, but there are varieties in areas where the properties of this technology, the properties that didn't previously exist, can be applied and quite usefully so. So getting rid of the negative narrative and headache of crypto and just saying, here's technology, it has nothing to do with the token, let's use it. That was one of the other challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are many challenges in the space, and I'm happy you guys are working on addressing all of those. Let's talk a little bit about some of the upcoming developments, milestones that people can kind of look forward to from Aventus.
Yeah, so the Aventus ecosystem is a fully decentralized ecosystem. So the token, this network itself. So the token holders have treasury that they can deploy to a variety of initiatives. Some of the interesting recent ones is Aventus Studios has come in to a revamp of token economics and the whole kind of blockchain-based ecosystem. So this is leading to the Aventus 2.0 version that we're expecting to announce within the next couple of months, which will revamp a bunch of these core blockchain community elements that are important. And there's marketing proposals and a variety of other elements happening at that level. Higher up the stack, we're going to continue to push on the supply chain and aviation front. So there are new airlines that are signing up. I can't mention who now, but there will be a variety of announcements there to kind of expand those partnerships. And then in the world of entertainment, some major publishing houses, especially in the sports space and sporting organizations, are coming together. We are looking at a potential deal, a deal that's signed, but it's soon to be announced with over 51 million monthly unique users. So when we talk about really onboarding Web2 to Web3, we're very excited about an announcement that will probably come out in the next few weeks. So that's kind of fusing it from things that are coming. In terms of roadmap, the next 2 meeting will kind of outline everything. So hopefully that gives it a little bit of something to share along with reporters.
Yeah, absolutely. Very exciting. So where can people kind of keep in touch with Aventus, learn more about what you guys are working on?
Yeah, so on X, the best is Aventus official. And then our website, everything is really there, all of the links, so whether people prefer Telegram or X or whatever it is, so Aventus.io, and some of our interesting use cases are there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, and all the people building on Web3 and looking to enter the space. Let's get back to doing it.